All you gotta do is pull up here. You know, you wanna join me? Pull up and join. You know what I'm saying? Pull right up here and you can join me.
And started. They asked me how I felt about what was said about me on another platform from some other people. You know, sometimes I'm not a troublemaker.
Jim Jones Styles P, let's talk about it. Verzuz started out as how much body of work you got, how many dope-ass singles you got, right? Then it grew. It progressed into having levels to this shit. It's sort of like boxing. You think you're going to mash somebody to out until them lights come on. It's a different story. Styles P said, I'm a barsmith. It's levels to this shit. Meaning, look, I could go on my bag with singles.
Welcome back to your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Let's spill the tea on today's hottest drama. Man, they cooked Jim like a Sunday roast with those bars. Straight up scorched him. No hesitation, no filter, just lyrical smoke flying in every direction. But let's keep it all the way real. This heat, it didn't just come out of nowhere. It all loops back to Jim Jones himself. That man's got this non-stop need to prove he's that guy. Like if he ain't the loudest in the room, he ain't breathing right. Always talking slick in interviews, flooding the gram with flex shots, dropping bars like he's schooling the streets. Jim been doing the most. He's been on turbo mode for years now, trying to morph from Harlem rapper to so-called street boss, then to a businessman. And now, he wanna be some high-end fashion guru too? Like bruh, pick a lane. But with all that shape-shifting, folks started peeping the cracks.
Jim will be out of business after August 3rd, so I'm practicing the weatherman. As you can see, I'm in Harlem, New York. What up, Harlem? I love y'all, you know, but I shit don't go that fast, okay? But anyway, I just want to say, after August 3rd, I'm going to be the new weatherman. If I ain't going to be it, Kiss is going to fill in, or we're going to have to do this shit together. But August 3rd, after August 3rd.
People are like, is Jim really about that life, or is he just putting on a show for the gram? And that's exactly what Styles P and Jadakiss been throwing shade at. No name drops needed. Soon as Styles said, you don't buy street cred, you gotta earn that, the whole room froze. Everybody knew who he meant. That bar landed like a back alley ambush. Clean hit. Doesn't matter how many chains Jim stacks around his neck or how many tracks he throws out back to back, he still ain't touching the level of realness Jada and Styles built brick by brick over decades. Respect like that don't come from likes or luxury. It comes from living that real and surviving it. Let's be real. Jim stay hustling like his life depends on it. Always out here acting like he runs New York, popping off in interviews, or stirring drama just to keep his name trending. Peace? Man, Jim treats peace like it's poison. Ever since the Locks bodied Dipset in that Verzuz showdown, Jim should have just taken that L with a lil grace and kept it pushing. But nah, he circled back throwing slick jabs like that whole massacre didn't even happen. Talking like Dipset wasn't even pressed that night.
And started. They asked me how I felt about what was said about me on another platform from some other people. You know, sometimes I'm not a troublemaker.
Jim Jones Styles P, let's talk about it. Verzuz started out as how much body of work you got, how many dope-ass singles you got, right? Then it grew. It progressed into having levels to this shit. It's sort of like boxing. You think you're going to mash somebody to out until them lights come on. It's a different story. Styles P said, I'm a barsmith. It's levels to this shit. Meaning, look, I could go on my bag with singles.
Please, ain't nobody forget when Jada shut the whole building down by himself with those solo joints. That was the moment the streets made it official. There's levels to this. And now, Styles and Kiss are doubling down on it with this new diss. They making sure Jim don't forget where he really stands. They didn't sugarcoat nothing. They tore straight through him. Jim out here spreading himself thinner than a mixtape hustle. He wanna be a street general, a top-tier rapper, a fashion icon, and a businessman, all at the same time. But now it's starting to look more like smoke and mirrors than solid moves. Styles P said it with his chest in a recent interview. He called Jim's whole energy forced. And for Jim, that had to sting hard, cause Jim came up off that raw Harlem rep. No gimmicks, no filters, just real street grind. He wasn't just rapping about the block, he was the block. But somewhere along the climb, that certified grit got swapped out for Paris runway flicks, designer shades, and flexing in luxury whips. The glow-up's real, but the authenticity? That's what folks are starting to question. It's like Jim traded in that raw grind for some influencer lifestyle.
Jones.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he's been in a few fights.
Has he won any?
I believe so.
Oh, really?
They say
Which one?
they say he beat up.
His baby mama or something like that?
Nah, he beat up dude at the restaurant.
Who, the cook?
Let me see.
I don't even think he's from Harlem, tell you the truth.
You don't think he's from Harlem?
Nope. I think because they never talk about him being in Harlem. I think he's from North Bronx or some shit.
You know, he claims a blood gang out there.
Britney Spears claims a blood.
And let's not act like people didn't catch on. That switch up, yeah, it was loud and clear. But let's be honest, when Jadakiss and Styles P speak, it ain't over petty beef. This ain't no rap tantrum. This is real ones calling out what they see as fake. These two built their legacy on nothing but bars, respect, and consistency. They didn't ride waves, they made waves. They ain't out here chasing clout or hopping on TikTok trends just to stay relevant. So when they see Jim popping up in every viral moment, trying to keep his name buzzing instead of dropping real heat, of course they're gonna say something. Jim acting like trend hopping is the new grind. But come on, Jada and Styles, they are the blueprint. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just raw talent, street-certified loyalty, and bars that still shake speakers. Meanwhile, Jim out here turning into a full-blown internet act. All the wild stunts, the flashy antics, like he trying to go viral instead of dropping classic music. And that's exactly why the OGs are side-eyeing him now. The streets remember who stood firm and who just dressed up the role for likes. No matter how much designer you throw on, real ones see straight through the act. What really kicked this whole flame back up? Jim stepping into podcast studios acting like he runs the entire New York rap kingdom. He went full delusional, putting himself above real legends, like his resume could even match, and people were not feeling it. He rubbed the whole city the wrong way, like for real. Who really gave Jim that crown? That silence? It hit harder than a diss track. Then out of nowhere, boom, Jim popped back in with a slick clapback that had the internet going wild. He's always on this I'm elite talk like he already in some top-tier Hall of Fame. But let's be honest, you can't crown yourself off your own hype. That title gotta be earned through classics, real grind, and love from the streets.
I was trolling. So I don't have much to say about it because I don't believe that Jim Jones believes that he's a better rapper than Nas, Pusha T, and Styles P.
Yeah.
I think he's an icon in terms of the fashion shit.
Culturally, all
And yeah, but we got to stop the train at somewhere.
Nas is a good place to stop that.
Nas is a great place to stop that train for anybody.
Yeah.
When you start naming specific people,
I'm not mad at that.
it feels weird to me. Also, he doesn't have more Billboard entries than Nas. That's the other thing.
I didn't check it.
Not just from flashy captions and reposts. So when Jada calmly dropped that numbers don't lie line, whew, that was a smooth, surgical mic drop. Everybody still remembers that Verzuz night. Jim been carrying that L like a backpack you can't shake off. And then Styles P came through and doubled down on it. Hard. He said it plain and clear. If you gotta throw shade just to shine, you moving with weak energy. How you gonna call yourself royalty while disrespecting the very kings who've been sitting on that throne? It don't work like that. Truth is, Jim was never built for this legacy lane. He might have talked a big game, but when the convo turned to respect and real hip-hop roots, he got exposed. Yeah, Jim got the drip. And yeah, his hustle's undeniable. But Jada and Styles, they got that unshakable credibility. They didn't have to hop on Instagram every week yelling King of New York. The streets crowned them a long time ago, and it stuck because it was earned, not forced. Meanwhile, Jim's still out here fishing for clout, hoping one viral post might rewrite history. Let's not act like this tension just showed up out of thin air. Nah, this been bubbling for years, and now the pot's finally boiling over. Long before that Verzuz meltdown, the shots were already flying. Sneaky bars, shady freestyles, backhanded tweets, and slick jabs on the mic. Folks tried to play it cool back then, calling it just rap politics, but let's keep it real. That pot been simmering and now it's overflowing. Jada and Styles P, oh, they've been clocking everything. On one of their IG lives, Styles didn't hold back. He straight up said some rappers perform more for Instagram than they ever did for their own block, and everybody knew exactly who he meant. He was talking about Jim's whole aesthetic, always flashy, always loud, always putting on a show, but missing that real soul the streets respect. Then Jada slid in, calm as ever, and dropped a gem. We don't compete with gimmicks, we compete with bars. And just like that, it was checkmate. That's a whole different level of smoke. While Jim out here taking designer selfies in Louis XV stores and chasing hashtags, the LOX still dropping verses so real they leave your chest tight. The difference? It's night and day. Fans are choosing sides, and the tension, you can feel it. Don't get it twisted. Jim got talent, nobody's denying that. But when every single move looks like part of some marketing rollout, the authenticity gets lost. The music starts to feel like background noise to the brand building. And when you put that energy next to Jada and Styles, two real legends who never needed gimmicks to leave a mark, it exposes the gap. This ain't about trending today. This right here, it's about legacy, and not everybody built to last. Right now, Jim's legacy looking mad shaky, while the LOX out here aging like fine wine, smooth, strong, and gaining even more respect with time. What makes this whole mess even spicier? Jim's still out here acting like it's all jokes and good vibes. But listen, Jada and Styles, they're not smiling. They've been talking real slick, but with purpose. This ain't no friendly sparring session anymore. It's a straight up call out. And Jim, he crossed that line the minute he kept throwing shade after that Verzuz beatdown. One of his posts even tried to twist the narrative, like Jada and Styles were hating because he was winning. But winning what exactly? Jada sitting on platinum plaques, legendary battles, and bars that still hit like punches today. Styles P still got the streets in his corner, no question. Man's dropping verses with depth, running successful juice bars, preaching real-life game and staying 100 on every track. That's grown man wins, real ones, no filters needed. Meanwhile, Jim's out here racing for relevance, chasing clout, clicks, and quick attention grabs. But the LOX, they've been peeped the playbook. And trust, so have the fans. Jim used to be the guy with that Harlem grit, the raw energy that built Dipset from the pavement up. But now, even some of his day one supporters are saying he veered too far into the gimmicks. Too much flash, not enough foundation, like he forgot what really made him pop in the first place. And when the people who built you start questioning your moves, that legacy starts to wobble real quick. In hip-hop, authenticity been the real currency. And Jada and Styles, they've been stacking that wealth for decades. They move in silence, but when they strike, it hits hard. They ain't the loudest in the room because they don't need to be. Their legacy speaks way louder than any flex, and every time Jim tries to downplay what they built, all he's really doing is exposing the cracks in his own story. That's why their words cut so deep. They're not just tossing shade for clout. They're voicing what a lot of folks been thinking behind the scenes. And let's keep it all the way real. One big reason the streets ain't letting this slide is cause Jim keeps trying to rewrite that Verzuz night like Dipset didn't get washed in front of the whole world. He be out here in interviews, laughing it off like they were just playing around or weren't ready. But come on, nobody's buying that. Jada turned into a full-blown monster on that stage. That wasn't just a show, it was a statement. A live broadcast letting the whole game know who really runs the mic, the crowd, and the culture. The LOX came locked in, sharp, focused, and hungry. Meanwhile, Dipset looked like they tumbled in straight off a party bus with no sound check. And now Jim out here still doing damage control like Sweet Talk can erase what we all saw with our own eyes. Styles P said it cold. You can't remix what the crowd already lived. That energy that night? Legendary. Trying to twist the truth only makes Jim look more out of touch. He acting like it was just one night, but nah, this ain't about a moment, it's about longevity. And Jada and Styles, they still in the booth, still sharp, still dropping flames. Ain't no dust on their pen game. Meanwhile, Jim out here treating rap like a side hustle, dropping tracks in between crypto convos and fashion flexes like hip-hop. Just another brand collab. But here's the thing, this culture don't forget. Hip-hop got long memory. When you take a major L and try to act like it never happened, that don't just mess up your streams, it strips away your respect. Even with all the new drops, flashy visuals, designer outfits, stacks of cash in the frame, the music ain't hitting. The bars feel flat, no depth, no punch, no replay value. It's just hollow heat built to trend for a minute, not to stand the test of time. And don't even bring up that wild talk about Jim thinking he could go bar for bar with Nas. Let's be serious. That's not even a real conversation. Nas is a living legend. He earned his respect the hard way, through timeless lyricism, storytelling, and culture-shaping albums. Jim, he's not even in the same weight class. Matter of fact, he ain't even in the same galaxy. Half the stuff Jim be spitting don't even hold up when you line it next to what Nas brings to the mic. You can't play around with a legacy like Nas. Hip-hop got levels, and the real fans, they know the difference. Jim keeps talking about respect and legacy like it's something you can buy. But Jada, that man's still dropping bars that break the internet with zero promo. Just straight lyrical pressure. What Jada and Styles deliver ain't no gimmick. It's that raw, grown man grind. They built their names off bars, not buzz. No stunts, no clout bait, just consistency and credibility. And Styles? He already broke it down plain. The difference between the real and the loud has never been more obvious. Some cats build bridges, others build brands, and let's be real, only one of those is made to last. Jim, he knee-deep in that brand hustle now, and that's fine if the music carried the same weight, but it don't. The fans feel it. The vibe might be polished, the visuals clean, the outfits top tier, but if the bars don't land, then it's just styling without soul. Instead of dropping heavyweight verses, Jim out here tossing sneak disses in IG captions and doing runway laps on the gram like it's Paris Fashion Week. That's influencer energy, not MC energy. And yeah, that's cute for social media clout, but in hip-hop, that don't earn stripes. That ain't what legends are built on. This ain't even about personal beef anymore. It's a full-blown culture clash. Old school depth versus new school dazzle. Jim wanna wear every hat. Rapper, businessman, fashion mogul, content king. But Jada and Styles? Man, they just need a mic and a beat. That's it. No gimmicks, no filters. And when they step up, they shut everything down. That's real power. Now here's where the fire really kicks up. The line between authenticity and aesthetics is screaming louder than ever. Jim's got talent. Nobody's denying that. But you can't fake soul, and fans, they're starting to wake up fast. The LX ain't just winning. They're reminding everybody what real hip-hop sounds like. And Jim, he better decide if he's still part of that movement or just another man modeling for the algorithm. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.